Hello, today I'm in the kitchen, so that means we're doing something in the kitchen. Right, not the usual thing, and I know these aren't your especially favorite videos, but I do tend to do things that are maybe a little bit interesting and maybe something that people haven't thought about. And today we're going to be making Spanakopita, which is Greek spinach pie. Okay, Greek spinach pie. So I'm just going to adjust the camera and show you what we need in ingredients. Okay, here we go. These are the ingredients you will need. You will need Filo pastry, 12 sheets of Filo pastry. Not quite sure how many grams this is. 220 grams. You will need ricotta cheese. Full fat is best. You will need between 400 and 500 grams. I have here 500 grams. You will need feta cheese. Once again, full fat. I'm using this one. It's the same thing, same flavor. And you will need 600 grams. I will be putting the recipe down, as in the ingredients, down below in the commentary box as well. Also in, well, English measurement, not metric. You will need 3 eggs. You will need 600 grams of baby leaf spinach, as dry as you can get it. You will need a big bowl to mix things in. I'm not sure this is actually enough. I hope it is, because that's about the biggest one I have. You will need baking trays, as I have a very slender oven. I'm using 3 small ones. If you've got a big one, that's better. You will need, this is 1 cup of olive oil, but you will need about 2 cups of olive oil in total, maybe a little more. Then you will need either a bunch of fresh dill or 1.5 tablespoons of dried dill, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, preferably pure salt, which is sea salt, Himalayan salt, or anything like that. So those you can always add more if for your taste you'd like to have more. Now I just want to mention the most important thing about this is the Filo pastry and the cheese will need to be room temperature. So take it out well in time. The Filo pastry takes about 2 hours or something to get to room temperature. Tea room temperature, I nearly said. Oh my goodness, here we go. All right, so I've just taken this out. So what I will do is I will be back with you as soon as we get into prepping mode. Oh, and you'll need a knife, of course. A chopping knife. Let me see. I like this broken one. It's lightweight for me. I like that one. You need a chopping board. And you will need a spatula to get things onto the trays. So these are the things you will need. I'll be back with you when it's time for preparation. So I am back, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grease these a little bit, and I have here my olive oil, because then I don't have to think about this. So just adding some oil into every one of those, and I am so prepared. Now, what did I do with the... This is what I'm looking for. Here we go. So I just grease this a little bit. I'll need a bit more. Make sure the sides are also oiled. And the corners, especially the corners. Right, and then I can put this aside for the minute. I'm not quite sure how many of these I'll be using, whether it's actually going to be 2 or 3. So I'll just do them all. So we don't want any stickage. Good word, that's stickage. I'm sure it's not the correct word, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so I put those aside. Okay, put the olive oil into reach. Right, now I have here my spinach, and you see it has drained a little bit. I just want to make sure it's really dry. So I'm going to spin it a little bit more. I don't think it's going to get any better than that. That'll be all right. So I'll take my spinach out. Okay, and now these leaves need to be chopped smaller. Oops. Yeah, they are a little wet, but that'll be okay. That's not too bad. Put them into the bowl. And with this, make sure you're going to get your hands dirty, so just make sure they are properly washed beforehand. Not that I think you don't, but I do want to mention that this is not something where you can just use a spoon. You will get your hands dirty on this one. Don't chop it too fine, because we are going to mix these as well. You'll see what I mean by that in a minute. You just want them somewhat smaller. And you can actually pre-make this dish and freeze it. It is possible. But then best to use smaller baking trays and all the aluminium ones that you can seal off after. Okay, right, let me pause you. Let's put this away and make a bit more space. Okay, so put these last ones in here. And now I'm going to move this board away as well. And for mixing purposes, I'm just going to put this underneath the bowl so that it doesn't slip. Okay, so first thing you need to do now is to crunch this quite a bit. Okay. Press and scrunch. And press and scrunch. You see, it's better to have a bigger bowl really, but this is the tallest and biggest I actually have. You want to break these down a bit. And it's easier when you have smaller pieces, you see. I'm making a little bit of a mess. See these little bits of stems? I'm just breaking those up as well. So now what we're going to do next is we're going to add a cup of olive oil. That'll add some extra moisture. And I think I'm going to put an apron on just to make sure. Right guys, I'm going to switch you off for a second. So I've got my Spanish señorita apron on because this is going to get a bit messy. Now get your cheese and crumble all of it in as well. So open that up. And I'm taking all 600 grams of the feta, crumbling that in. Actually, this has a bit too much liquid. I want to drain that. Draining some of the liquid off, that's all. Taste, see how salty it is, so that you know whether you need to adjust the saltiness of your mixture. Okay. Right, get the ricotta. See if there's any liquid in that. No, not so much, so that's fine. So I'm adding the ricotta into there as well. So that'll be 500 grams as well. That's 500 grams of ricotta. I could have thought about opening these up. Oh. Okay. It's broken off, so I need to get a knife. Okay, I've got this opened. Here we go. Get that one in as well. Here we go. And just work that in. I said it was going to be a messy business, and it is a messy business. But it'll be worth it. Right, now I'm just going to add my spices. And they're going to be worked in as well. I'm still crumbling up some of the cheese. You don't want big bits floating in there. I'm just adding the little bit of the 1 cup that is still sunk to the bottom here of olive oil into here. Okay, and before the eggs go in, I'm just going to try this, see if it's got enough seasoning. No, I definitely like a little bit more salt and pepper. So I'm adding some more pepper. Quite a bit, that's most probably another tablespoon of black pepper there. You can add a little bit of heat by putting white pepper in instead. And I'm adding a little salt. Now, I have here these spoons. It says a dash, a smidgen and a pinch. I'm going to put a dash in. Actually a heaped dash. Right, give it another try. Yes, I like that. I don't want it too strong of dill, because dried dill is always stronger than fresh. So that's perfect. I'm just going to clean my hands. I've cleaned my hands, and now I'm going to whisk these eggs and they'll be added. And in the meantime, I've just thought of something. I'm going to put the oven on to preheat. So carry on whisking. As you can hear, just put the oven on. Okay, add that into here. I had a little bit of an accident on the side. I poured some of the egg out. I'm just pushing that into the bowl, and the dog can have that. Here we go. Okay, so now just stir that in. Get a cloth to clean the mess here on the side that I've made. Move this to the side. Bring up the pan. So now it's time for the Filo pastry. Take it out. Open it up. Make a bit more space. Whoops. Right. Here we go. Okay, here's the Filo pastry. So what you want is you want 3 sheets first. And it's a bit fiddly. Here we go. And you want this at the bottom. Like that. Actually, I'm gonna halve this, more or less. Tear it down the middle. So I want this to stick up a little bit. So now you need that brush again. So now you want to put olive oil in between. Doesn't have to be perfect. Next row. That's why I said you're most probably going to need 2 cups or a bit more. Now you've got a strong base. Okay, and now you'll take sheets and lay them this way around, one layer, and make sure that there's an overhang. Both sides. Repeat the routine. Okay, now we come to the exciting bit. Now we're going to take the filling and put some of it into the center. Oh. Oops, and again I'm making a mess. Like that. And I've made way too much for my small little. Doesn't matter. Right. And now we're going to fold this over loosely. Like so. And where you see there's little bits that haven't got oil on, just oil it as it goes. And where's my little jug? Okay. And I'm creating basically a little castle here. Okay. Folding all of these sides in. Like that. Now take a new sheet and fold it the other way. If you can tuck it in a little bit, then do that. Sometimes the phyllo is too brittle, then don't. There we go. Oil the top again. Okay, like that. Now I'm just going to count my sheets because I'm going to have to do, hang on a minute, let me just do the others as far as that as well. Okay, I'm just working on the small ones here, and I'm just basically doing the same. The only difference with this is I'm going to do it like that. So I've got a crisscross going on here. It's easier if you do have just one big tin to work with. Okay. Okay. Right. Add the mixture in. Fold it in. Trying to make a parcel as good as you can, like that. And now, because this is so small, what I'm going to do is I'm going to oil this first. Makes it a little easier for me. Okay. And tuck that in. Like so. That aside. Next one. And because I want to do a bit of a decoration on the big one, what I'm going to do is I am just going to do one layer like this. Oh, maybe not. Just one layer. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I normally have more, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. Sometimes you've got to play with what you've got. Okay, pour some more in here, and I've got a load of mixture over. So I'm going to be using that for something else. Right, now one more thing I'm going to do here is bring the big one back. And I'm just going to crumple this sheet up a little bit like that. Drizzle some olive oil onto it. Like that. Now we need a big knife, and we're going to pre-cut the portions. Okay, and I'll do that with the others as well. Okay, right. Now I'm going to turn the oven down to 180 degrees and then stick this in for an hour. So it's in the oven now, and after an hour I will be back and we will see what comes out. It will still have to stand there for another 20 minutes to cool down. See you then. Okay, it's about 2 minutes away from 1 hour and I've just opened the oven door and I want to show you. Oh, can you see that? Can you see that? All golden brown. So I'm now going to take this out and I'm going to leave it on the side to cool down for 20 minutes. I'll be back. I'll put them on the side here and you can see. Okay, here you go. I'm going to wobble the camera a little bit. I've just taken it out. It's still red hot. So this was the one with the many layers. And you can see if I had more sheets left, then I would have made more of this. What's it called? Decoration. There you go. Okay, this was the one where I had still quite a few sheets over the top, and this was the single layer one. So, but they all have worked. They now need to just set and cool for about 20 minutes and then I'll cut into it. So 20 minutes is over. I'm cutting the thinnest one through first. Here we go. Oops. And I hope I can get this out. This is going to be a feat. This is not my strong point. And there you can see it is set. It is beautiful. This is the thin one, the other one's a bit thicker. So there you go, there you have it.